Let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why some men, without money, without fame, without the flashiness of modern status symbols, can still completely capture a woman's attention in a conversation? Why? In the middle of an ordinary discussion, her eyes light up, her body language changes, and suddenly she's leaning in closer, captivated by something deeper than wealth or looks. What if I told you that the secret isn't in cheesy pickup lines? It isn't in flexing, and it isn't in trying to hard, but rather in a timeless truth that Marcus Aurelius and the ancient Stoics understood over 2,000 years ago. Before we dive deep into this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, and most importantly, stay with me until the very end, because what I'm about to share with you can completely transform the way you connect with women, how they see you, and even how you see yourself. This isn't just advice, it's Stoic wisdom applied to your love life. Now, let's start with the story. The story begins building context. Picture Rome in the 2nd century. The air is filled with the smell of burning oil lamps, and the marble columns of the emperor's palace stretch toward the sky inside. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, is writing in his private journal. His words are not meant for the public, not for history, not even for his closest advisors. They are reminders to himself, words to strengthen his soul. In one of his reflections, he writes, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Think about that for a second. What he's saying is this: no matter what happens outside of you, the true source of your peace or your chaos comes from the way you interpret it. Your perspective is your power. Now fast forward to today. Imagine you're sitting across from a girl you like. The conversation is flowing, but suddenly, you feel a spark of insecurity. You think, what if I'm not interesting enough? What if she loses interest? What if I say the wrong thing? Most men in this moment collapse under the weight of those thoughts. They start overthinking. They stumble over their words, and the energy shifts. The girl senses it instantly. Women have an almost sixth sense for insecurity. But what if instead of giving into that wave of self-doubt, you simply remembered Marcus Aurelius' lesson, that the feeling of inadequacy doesn't come from her reaction, but from your interpretation of it? You are the one who gives power to fear. That shift alone can change the way you speak, the way you hold yourself, the way you look at her. And here's where the magic happens. The secret phrase, the moment of impact. In the middle of conversation, when a man calmly, confidently, and genuinely says something like, "I don't need everything to be perfect. I just enjoy this moment as it is." It does something powerful.
Why? Because it shows presence. It shows composure. It shows that you are not controlled by outcomes, by fear, or by approval. To a woman, that's electrifying. It's not about the exact words, it's about the Stoic principle behind them. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world where everything could collapse in an instant. Plagues, betrayals. Yet he constantly reminded himself to stay grounded in the present, to appreciate what is, and to remain unshaken by what he couldn't control. When you embody that in your words, it resonates. A woman feels it, because deep down, what turns her on is not just a line. It's the man's state of being behind the line. Building deeper understanding. Let's go deeper here. There's a reason why women are more attracted to men who can hold their frame. Think of a frame as your inner center of gravity. Most men lose theirs. If a woman teases them, they get defensive. If she delays replying to a text, they panic. If she tests them, they break. But the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they all taught the opposite. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus, freedom, attraction, and power come not from controlling others, but from mastering yourself. So when you're in a conversation with a woman, and you drop a line rooted in that mastery, something like, "I don't chase perfection, I chase presence," it lands. It's not a trick, it's not a pickup artist gimmick. It's a reflection of your inner reality, and that inner reality is irresistible. Why it works? Psychology plus Stoicism. Let's pause for a second. Why does this work? Why would something so simple light up attraction more than flexing your achievements or showing off your bank account? Because women, on a subconscious level, are wired to seek stability. Not just financial stability, but emotional stability. Money can disappear, looks can fade, but emotional composure, the ability to stay calm in chaos, to remain strong in uncertainty, that's eternal. And here's the secret. Marcus Aurelius wasn't trying to impress anyone. His writings weren't meant to be seductive, but they are, because confidence, grounded, and calmness are inherently magnetic. When you, in the middle of a conversation, express something like, "Whatever happens, I'll be fine, I always am," you're radiating that same Stoic energy. And that's the moment when she feels it, not just in her mind, but in her body. The modern application, a story of two men. Let me tell you about two men I once knew. The first one, Let's call him Daniel. Daniel was good, well-dressed, and ambitious. But every time he sat with a girl he liked, he couldn't hide his nervousness. He'd talk too fast, try to fill every silence, and constantly look for validation in her eyes. He thought his achievements would carry him, but the energy betrayed him. The second man. Let's call him Elias. Elias was not flashy. He didn't drive a luxury car.
He didn't even care for social media. But when he spoke, there was a calmness, a weight, a presence in his words. Once, in the middle of a conversation, a girl jokingly challenged him. "Why are you so calm all the time? Don't you care about impressing people?" And Elias smiled and said, "Impressing people has never brought me peace. Enjoying this moment does." The girl laughed, but her body language shifted. From that moment, she was hooked. Because what Elias said wasn't a line, it was truth. Stoic truth. Expanding the lesson. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Now imagine carrying that into your conversations. Instead of bragging, you radiate calm. Instead of chasing, you enjoy the moment. Instead of bending to insecurity, you stand firm in your frame. And in that space, attraction happens naturally. Because women aren't just listening to your words, they're feeling your essence. The practical takeaway. So what can you say, practically, that carries the Stoic weight? Here are some examples inspired by Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics. I don't need everything to go my way, I just enjoy where I am. Even if things fall apart, I know I'll be okay. Perfection is an illusion. Presence is real. I don't try to control people. I only control myself. Now, don't just memorize these lines like scripts. That's not the point. The point is to become the kind of man who genuinely believes these things. When you do, the words will come out naturally. And when they do, the effect is undeniable. Closing the circle, bringing it all together. So, let's go back to the question we started with. Why do some men turn women on in conversation, not with money, not with looks, not with tricks, but with something far deeper? It's because they embody what Marcus Aurelius embodied: calmness in chaos, presence in the moment, strength and self-mastery. And when, in the middle of a conversation, you let that truth slip out, not as a performance, but as your reality, she feels it, not just with her mind, but with her body. That's the power of Stoicism in love. That's why girls get turned on when you say this, not because of the words themselves, but because of the man behind the words. Final words. If you found value in this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, watch this video again if you need to remind yourself of these truths. Because mastering this isn't just about women, it's about mastering yourself. And with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.